Hey everyone, my name is Scott Chanel and this is my flight scenario presentation for Aviation 320. In this scenario, we're given a return flight back to our home airport, and we have to go over a few things to plan for it. So one thing to plan for before you even leave is the departure clearances. Make sure you have your chart supplement and that it's up to date. Make sure you go over the airport environment of the airport that you're not very familiar with. So that's going to include your obstacle clearances and a lot of things that are listed in this chart supplement for the airport. Just review it, go over it. As you come to the airport and get ready to go, we're told that the airplane has a G1000, which is wonderful. I'm very familiar with that, and it makes single pilot resource management a lot easier. So what I'll do is go ahead and add all the intersections and waypoints into the G1000 for the en route portion of the flight. It's going to make your life a lot easier, including all the intersections on the airways. And that's going to just keep you ahead of the airplane one step at a time. As you go, you're not going to be surprised by anything. As you are in the flight, you're going to have some time on your hands. En route, it's a long flight. So what I would do is pull up my chart supplement and look at the approach. And go ahead and begin planning your approach, how you're going to do it. Go through each step in your head before you even get there. That way you're not scrambling at the last second to do something. Make sure you preview your charts, preview your checklists, and make sure that you're aware of it. One thing that I like to do personally is put into ForeFlight where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing. It really helps as you manage the stresses of the flight. It helps you stay ahead of the airplane. So as I'm approaching my destination, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the approach that I'm expecting, which in this case is going to be the ILS for runway 32. And as I get close to that airport, I'm going to listen to the weather, get the winds, and maybe I'll need to adjust the approach that I'll expect. And one thing that as I listen to the winds, I'm thinking about my alternate airports. If I have to fly the missed approach and I go way out of the way to the airport that I was kind of banking on being an alternate, well, it now makes sense to find a different alternate. And so that's what I would think about as I listen to the winds and get the weather. So having all of this information in front of you doesn't do you any good unless you look at it and read it. So go ahead and look at everything that you're going to be approached with as you come into this airport, and that way you're not surprised. Now, as I was saying, the weather is very important, and it'll determine which runway you land on. And that can be gotten before you even take off from your first airport. You can get the weather. You can preview and plan, think ahead. As you're going and before you take off, do your PAVE checklist, which pilot in command, go through the I am safe checklist. Aircraft, environment and external pressures. These external pressures that are in this scenario are pretty extensive and they can be mitigated. You can go ahead and call your family and tell them you might be late. Tell your kids you might miss the championship game and that you'll have somebody record it and you'll watch it with them later. You might meet them after the game for dinner. And don't tell your pickup ride what time you're gonna land. Tell them that you'll call once you get there. One thing that I really enjoyed learning and was very surprised about was from the King schools. They really helped put in place ways to reduce the stress, ways to reduce the anxiety of trying to get there with pushing your limits beyond what you're capable of. So it's very helpful to know your limits and to set proper expectations, not just for yourself, but for the people that are counting on you. So with all of those decisions to be made, it leads you to a final decision of a go, no go. And in this situation, I would go, and I would set up all these checks and balances with expectations and letting people know exactly what to expect of you. So that is my presentation for the flight scenario of Aviation 320. Thank you very much.